Welcome to the Kas Show with Chris Ryan. I'm your host, Eric Stowe.
And I'm Chris Ryan.
A lot happened over the last week in sports. We're going to take you to it.
Let's do it.
I want to talk about the OKC Thunder. I don't think OKC works. I think that they just need to make a couple adjustments to make it better.
So the Thunder don't work at 7-7, but everybody thinks the Cavs work at 8-7. Okay, I just had to say it.
Well, the Cavs have the best player in the universe on their team, and I don't think any of those
The Cavs got Kevin Durant. That's funny.
It's the worst thing you've ever said on the show.
All right, let's get to it.
The three star players on the Cavs, for those of you that live in a black hole, Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony are all averaging about the same amount of points, right around 20 points, have the same usage rate, and it's kind of like one player is walking up the ball with the court, and then they give it to Paul George, and then they give it to Melo, and then Russell Westbrook's like, oh, it's my turn again, and they're just taking turns.
It's almost like they don't want to hurt each other's feelings.
Yeah, you need an established 1, 2, and 3 on a squad like that. Like look at Golden State. You know, Kevin Durant is taking so many steps forward in so many places, but he's averaging less points than Steph Curry.
Because he knows that what they need. That's what they need.
That's what they need, and that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to win, but they're so vain. And Paul George and Carmelo Anthony, they only care about averaging as many points as Russell Westbrook, and you can't win games like that. And I think that if you're like Billy Donovan, I think if you're the coach, you need to write plays for Russell Westbrook and make it apparent that he's the captain.
But since everything in basketball revolves around LeBron, we'll compare this to the Heat. You know, they started slow with their new big three. Because they had, when LeBron and Chris Bosh came to the Heat, along with Dwayne Wade, they were all used to being the one. So it took them a few games to get it going. But once they got everything in place, Eric Spoelstra's a pretty good coach. He righted the ship. I think Billy Donovan's a pretty good coach. I think they get it figured out sooner than later. They top 4 in the East. So Harry loves to talk about the Kings, so I wanted to mention that De'Aaron Fox hit a mid-range jumper against the Sixers
to win the game. The kid's for real. He's for real. I just think it's exciting because you have reality TV star and part-time NBA player Lonzo Ball, who's missed every mid-range jumper he took this year.
That blew my mind.
De'Aaron Fox gets a game winner on a shot that the person drafted before him can't even make.
I think this is more telling about Lonzo Ball than De'Aaron Fox, though.
Lonzo is shooting over 80% of his shots from either outside the three or right within the basket.
It literally blew my mind when he told me he didn't make one in the entire season. The entire year. I think
we're
insane.
like 15 games in. You got to hit that.
You're the number 2 pick. Got to hit that. So LeBron James and Enes Kanter got into some beef recently. What happened?
So basically, LeBron went on his podcast uninterrupted. He still won't have us on, which I think is crazy. I've emailed him. I'm like, hey, LeBron. He's like, no. And and he said that the Knicks really messed up by not taking Dennis Smith Jr. by going with Frank Ntilikina.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, and thank you on the pronunciation, not on the take. And his Kanter went on Twitter and he clapped back and he's like, no, we love our guys. We're the king here. And then LeBron said, I'm the king. My wife is the queen, and my daughter is the princess. And then he dunked on Enes Kanter, put a picture of himself at the Garden on Instagram, and said, this is my favorite playground.
LeBron's doing too much this year, man.
He won.
They're 8-7, and he's...
Checkmate king.
He's all over social media with the Arthur memes, and then Isaiah Thomas with the Arthur memes. They just... Dude, go...
Why are you mad at Arthur memes?
Because the creator of Arthur is from Boston, if you didn't know that. I know that.
Is there have to be a fun Boston fact every episode?
Yeah, because we talk about the Kings every episode, so...
The Kings are exciting!
The Kings are the Kings! They haven't been good since Mike Bibby.
I love Mike Bibby. University of Miami is for real. It's for real. They look good. They took down Notre Dame, and they did it in a way that was so... It was just dismantling. And they took a team that has probably the best O-line in the sport right now and just dismantled it.
It was a great W.
They couldn't run. Notre Dame couldn't run. That's their bread and butter. That's all they do.
Yeah, but I always thought that Notre Dame was fake. But anyway, they give them respect. I'm from Miami.
I love the University of Miami. I go to school in Gainesville, but they'll always have a very special place in my heart. I love watching them play. I love the turnover chain. One thing I will say, though, is if you are a team playing against the University of Miami, you gotta have a mock. You know what I mean? If you were Clemson, you know what I mean? Come out with a couple jokes. One that I think would be particularly funny get like a bunch of paper clips and tie them together so they make a necklace, and anytime you score on Miami, put it on. It's just to
like
mock
that.
their chain, yeah.
Following up, I love it when a team has this gimmick and they're so hot throughout the whole year and they're just pounding everybody, and then they get to a big game and they crumble. And like when Cam Newton was 2 years ago when they played the Broncos in the Super Bowl, and they were 15-1 in the regular season, and they were taking all these pictures before the end of the game, and they were celebrating, and Cam Newton was dabbing, doing his Superman. I disliked what Cam Newton did so much.
You hate dabbing? That's what this is about?
I hate dabbing.
You hate that? It's because Hillary Clinton does it. If Hillary Clinton puts on the turnover chain, I won't like it anymore. I'm gonna be real. But like dabbing was cool, you know? Like,
But my point is, I disliked what he did so much. It forced me to root for Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos.
I'm just fronting. I don't like dabbing. Because of Cam Newton, I can't like Future now.
Oh, God. All right, well, the Jacksonville Jaguars and the LA Chargers played the most Jacksonville Chargers game.
Jacksonville was down. I think there was about 3 minutes left on the clock, and Bortles threw a pick. And you would think, okay, that's the game. But the only reason they won the game is because Phillip Rivers is the only person better at being Blake Bortles than Blake Bortles is.
You're not wrong, but the Chargers have lost 5 of their 6 losses have been by 1 possession, and
the other one was the Chiefs.
I think by 2 touchdowns. But they only lost to Philly by 2. They're not a bad team. They're the new Jaguars, shooting themselves in the foot. Plaxico Burress should play for them.
Jags safety Tayshaun Gibson made headlines this week. Talked smack before a game against the Browns. He said they're going to hang him by 40. But come on, man. Don't talk smack against the Browns. You know what I mean? Talk smack like the other Florida teams.
Literally everyone else.
The Colts, the Giants are doing really bad this year. Like, the Browns don't need that. They know they're bad. They know. And you know the best because you played there last year. Come on, Tayshaun.
Yeah, you don't take a shot against the team you just came from when you know they're just...
You know they're bad.
Struggling for decades.
Cap needs a name for his book. Colin Kaepernick, he had a book that came out earlier this year. It was entitled Different. Not that that's a bad name, but I just think you could do better.
There's a couple better options.
I think you could do better. So we're gonna just. I think Different was kind of short-sighted. Like
it sounds like he thought about it for 5 minutes and said, "All right, that's what I'm gonna do."
So we thought about titles for 6 minutes. So this is Kaepernick. If you're listening. My thing, my favorite. I think that this. I think it only makes sense. You got to call it Kneecap. I think you got to call the book Kneecap because
that's the number one option.
Your name,
but if you don't like that one,
Cap.
But if somehow you don't like that one, we have some other options for you. You know, if you're writing a book, you need people to read it for you. So, I need you. I like that one.
1 Knee, 2 Chains.
If you're into the hip hop, How to Get Blackballed by Colin Kaepernick.
Thanks for 10 Million by Jay Cutler.
Knee Flicker.
That one sounds racist.
Oh, stop. It's a football. It's Flea Flicker. You went there. I didn't.
Kneesus.
Also,
which is the best
if you're
one.
Into the hip-hop.
That's the best one. If you have like Kanye West, he could do the interlude. Or what's it called for a book, not the foreword?
The
Kanye will
prelude?
do the foreword. The
Something
prelude?
like that. Something like that.
All right.
And to kick it up, or to wrap it up, Kaepernick.
Why do we end on the worst one?
It's the worst
all
one.
better than Kaepernick.
It's the worst one, but it's the best one.
That's the show for this week. If you like what you heard, subscribe to our YouTube page. Follow us on Twitter at Kas Podcast. That's KASPODCAST. Also, this week we're applying to be on Apple Radio. Not Apple Radio, Apple
Podcasts?
We're applying to be on Apple Podcasts, so hopefully they say yes. More ways that you guys can keep up with us. We love y'all.
Have a good one.